There we go. Oh, there's a lighthouse. Oh man, too bad it's closed. That would have been bitching. Even if only for the gram. Oh, look at all those cars. Alright, well, while we're waiting for those cars to pull up here and not hit us, would be dope. What's going on YouTube? It's Nikki, the Bombshell Biker, and I am here at Babe's Ride Out. I know it looks like I'm in a field. That's kind of what Babe's Ride Out is. But, we are here just in San Simeon. My sister is the one ahead of me. I am pulling up the rear here. Oh man, it has been an amazing trip. We've had so much fun. We've had some not so much fun, because that's what makes a good trip, I think. That balance. Look at that ocean. We're getting the coast. We're getting just, everything. There's cows. There's some zebras up ahead. There's sea lions. Oh, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Also, last night on our drive in, there's a sign that's like, hey, watch for deers, which we've seen. And there's also like, oh, and bears. Excuse the fuck out of me? Fucking bears? Bears. You can smell the menstruation. Anyways, sorry. If you're not an Anchorman fan, that's hella awkward for you. And I'm so sorry. But this weekend has been amazing. It is my first big trip without the beard, which is very scary for me, because he's my security blanket. But he was like, well, you just have your littler security blanket, which is my sister. I said, yeah, she's my travel size. And look at her. She's a fucking boss ass bitch. We have been lane splitting, and yes, you heard correctly, we have been lane splitting. Ta-da! I lane split this weekend, and it was not as bad as I build it up to be, but also we went very, 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 very slow through stop traffic. It was not like we were lane splitting through just slow traffic. Like, it was stopped, and we had already like crawled. Look at this elephant seals out there. Sidebar. Sorry, let's appreciate them and their habitat and this beautiful view. It was a complete stop, and we had already done that in the heat, and it was too much. We were so hot. It was already took us way longer than we expected to get out here. And so my sister was just like, okay, it's time to put on your big girl panties. Like, let's go. So we did, and she was wonderful. And the beard was like, if she can do it on that big ass bike, you can follow behind. And I was like, okay, so I was on her ass. And thankfully we have comms. We are both using Pack Talks, and so she was able to be the voice in my head, you know, telling me like, you're doing great, it's okay, like, I'm gonna do this. And that's, I told her, like, a big part of why I think I was able to stick with riding and fall in love with it the way I have is because, like, the beard and I had the comms, and so I was able to, like, have his voice in my ear telling me, like, what was going on, like, if there was a hazard or if I was starting to freak out, I could be like, I gotta go, and I could, because he knew, and wasn't just like, oh, and Nikki's gone. There she went, you know? And so it was just wonderful. And then my sister and I actually went up to Hearst Castle today, which I don't know if you can see it up there. It's that big castle on the hill. And it was a trip that we had done as kids with my parents. It was a really awesome family trip. My parents tried to do one big family trip with us a year. We had timeshares for a while, and like one year we did like a week at Disneyland, which was awesome. And then one year we came out here to San Simeon, and we also went to Solvang, which is a little Dutch town, which my sister and I are probably going to hit on our way home. And we just had a blast. And like my sister and I very, very vaguely remember the tour, but we don't remember any of the details because we were young. Like, if I remember correctly, it was right after my sister had knee surgery, and that was her freshman year of high school. And I've been out of high school almost 12 years. So I was in 8th grade. It's been a minute. And so it was really nice to go, and we did like the developing and like the dreaming and developing of the state itself. And that was really cool because we also learned that the woman, I'm gonna let that sink in, the woman architect, she was the actual like developing architect. She was also landscaping architect. She did a lot of stuff. Was the first woman architect, like licensed woman architect in California. And she was also like the first woman to graduate from this very prestigious architectural college in France. And I felt like, wow, what a more appropriate weekend, or what more appropriate of a weekend, sorry, bad English, to have learned that fun fact while on Babes Ride Out, you know? Like all these women coming together to be badass and fearless, and look at her. And like, and a little fun fact background about Hearst, William Hearst approaching her. He was like, hey, like, I just, if you want to work with me on the weekends, we'll get this done in a couple years. And they were working on it for 28 years, and it still wasn't finished to his like specifications. And his son had said that if you'd give him another at 28 years of work, he said it was only halfway finished, and if you'd have given him another 28 years, it still would only be about halfway finished. And it made me think of my dad, because my dad very much is one of those people that like you can keep tinkering with it and keep making changes, and like, oh, but if I do this, I can, like, it'll get this much better, and if I do this, it'll be this much better. And so it reminded me a lot of my dad. Oh man, I cannot express how happy I am that we have made this trip. It took us a very long time to get up here. I think it took us like 9 hours in total. It's like a 5 or 6 hour drive from Beaumont, and it took us much longer. A, because I didn't lane split. B, we had a lot of traffic, but it was worth it. Every like sore butt pullover, every like pre-panic attack I got to. There was one point we had overshot our exit, and I was done. It was dark, I couldn't see, it was a windy road, like people were up my ass. And you guys know, like, that anxiety, she's a bitch. And I was pulled over on the side of the road. We were trying to figure out where we were. And I just texted the Beard, and I was just like, I'm like done. I just want to be there. I'm so tired. I'm so cold. Like, because it got stupid cold last night. A lot of you saw on my Instagram that it got down to 37 degrees last night. And we were in a tent camping. First off, I haven't camped since I was a child. Like, I even think teenagers being generous. Since I was a child. Oh, that's cute. And so, like, my sister was like, how do we put together the tent? I'm like, I don't know. And so thankfully another girl took pity on us and called a flashlight for us. I told her, I was like, chick, I haven't been camping in decades. At least. And so I don't camp, and then on top of that, the temperature dropped. We were expecting like 54, and then it was 37. So 20 degrees we did not account for, which when you're camping you should account for all kinds of weather, I'm aware. But we were on the bikes. I brought my Indian motorcycle hoodie. That's great, but it breathes really well. And it retains heat pretty well too, but also it does not retain enough heat for 37 degrees when I was wearing a t-shirt underneath, because it was supposed to be 54. Like, Mother Nature, please. Also, there's zebras over there. I don't know if you could see them when I did that head turn, and I apologize, I know that was pretty fast, but those zebras are actually from William Hearst's original, they're like descendants of the original animals that were there, which I think is pretty dope. And anyways, so no sleep was had last night. It was a very rough night. My sister and I both need sleep. It keeps us pretty, and it keeps us from murdering people. And we got like 3 hours combined, so that wasn't great. But we still got up this morning. We met some cool people in line, and like we were waiting in line for like an hour for coffee, which like when you have 1,500 girls and one coffee tent, like you're gonna be waiting, but your bitches need coffee. So here we are. But it was nice. Like they had, I was really grateful that they had like vegan options. I'm not vegan. I don't even identify as vegetarian. Let me start with those two things. I don't eat meat anymore because it makes me very, very sick. And so when people don't have vegetarian options, it's difficult. Like when we were in Texas, like I didn't really have a choice. Like it was eat chicken or don't eat. And so I said, well, it's just fucking chicken. So we had chicken. But I was really glad that they had like a vegan breakfast burrito option this morning. Because let me tell you, if you have not tried already, soy chorizo is fucking delicious. And I love chorizo, and I'm very particular about the chorizo I will eat, like the real chorizo. I did not miss it at all. It was great. So very, very grateful to the vendors for having those options for us, because like I don't need to be sick on top of a bike. Like that's asking for a nightmare of a trip. And it already is like, it's a rough trip, but it's worth it. It's just rough. So, oh man, but I had to bring you guys along for a little taste of this. I've been trying to get video of everything we've been doing, which will probably be the first video I release. And we'll talk about that. This one was mostly about Hearst Castle today, but oh man, it's been great. Trip recap, I guess. We're not even gone yet, but trip recap. Actually, we may head out a little earlier just because we've got a long trip, and tomorrow it's basically like, hey, it's over, get out. And like when you've got 1,500 chicks to get out of there, it's gonna be a nightmare, which is fine, but your girls can head on the road and get stepping. So not mad about that idea, especially because I don't like to ride at night, and if we leave, the park, the event a little earlier, we can go down a ways. We would love to stop at, like I said, Hoosmadiger. That's not the name of the town. Solvang. There we go. It was going to come to me. We can stop at Solvang and spend some time there. Also, it has been really nice to be around all these lady bikers. Just doing it, They came out, they camped. Some of them have trailers, some of them have tents. There was one girl next to us, bless her heart. She was outside with no tent last night. She was just in a sleeping bag. And let me tell you, I saw some big fucking spiders just walking around. And that gave me the heebie-jeebies. And I was just like, oh my God, they're going to get opposable thumbs. They're going to open the zipper and we're going to die. We didn't. Thankfully, we're still here. But there was that threat, and I was just like, and okay, so at the place where the event is, there's these big holes in the ground. We were trying to figure out what those holes were, and at one point we made a joke that it's like the NICU for the baby bears. It's like little holes next to more tiny bears. And we also were just like, oh my God, I hope that's not true, because like I don't need a mama bear trying to look for her baby in this hole right next to our bikes. But it's just, there's a lot of holes, and like God only knows what's living in those holes. I don't want to know, because I may pee a little, and I don't have another like change of pants for a while. Oh my God. But anyways, so yeah, we might head back a little sooner, but I mean, all in all, this trip was 100% worth it. It sucked that we got in so late yesterday because we missed a lot of the event. Takes place on Friday, which is kind of unfortunate for those of us that can't take that much time off, because like my sister had to work Friday morning, and then we missed a lot, so that was a little like wah, but still like very cool to have all the ladies together, and just I cannot wait to do more events like this, especially with my sister. Like we were already planning our next trip, which seems like, again, PMES, post motorcycle event syndrome. And like actually, sorry, I'm like eating my dead cat here. We have never ridden together. All this time my sister and I have been riding in our lives, we've never been able to ride together, because when I rode, I was riding her bike before. And then she was in Hawaii, and she was in Oceanside, and And this is the first time we've ridden together. And let me tell you, I can get next to my sister while we're riding, and it feels like the most comfortable thing I've ever done. I feel like I've been riding with her since the womb, and again, like, it's been great. I've had such a great time, and I'm so glad my sister and I got to share this together. And I just, loving life. But we are about to pull in to try and find some grub, because since breakfast we have not eaten, and that's a bee. Can you fucking not? Anyways, alright, I'm gonna end it here. But stay safe, stay sassy. Ah! I was trying to do my outro right now, and then I just screamed like a little bitch. Okay. Let's try that again. So as always, stay safe, stay sassy, and we will see you guys on the next one. Have a good one, guys. Oh my gosh. I don't do bees.